All right, everyone, welcome to a special edition of SMA Live. I have on the line with me Caitlin Dechelle, fresh from some of the Isle of Themyscira. Caitlin, welcome to the program. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks. That was an awesome introduction. How are you?
I'm doing good. Now you've had quite the busy week and weekend. If you've been living under a rock, Wonder Woman has absolutely destroyed all the competition at the box office this weekend, and you played a pivotal role in that movie. Can you give us a little insight to that?
Yeah, of course. So, yeah, I'm so happy that Wonder Woman is finally out and, it did so well, like you said, and is just crushing records. And I mean, Patty, our director, has reached some huge numbers, so it's incredible. And but yeah, so I stunt doubled Gal Gadot in Wonder Woman, and it was probably one of the most amazing jobs I've had. Hardest, but probably most amazing. And yeah, it was just fantastic. We filmed in London for about 6 to 7 months, and then shot in Italy for about 1.5 to 2. And yeah, it was definitely an adventure of a lifetime.
Now, as you mentioned, the movie had been in the can or actually done for a while. How long? When did you actually wrap on that?
Wow, good question. I want to say I wrapped last May.
Hmm.
Yeah, I would say about last May, because then we started the like October before that. So it's definitely been some time now. That's why my I've been waiting and like counting down the days. It's so hard because you film something, at that level, and it takes a while. You have post-production and everything else, so it's like you're just sitting there kind of tapping your fingers like, all right, when is this coming out? Like, I'm
Hmm.
ready. So I'm glad the world has finally seen it.
That's one of the things that I was wondering with DC's release cycle. You had Batman versus, well, if you take it back to Man of Steel, then Batman versus
Yeah.
Superman, and then Wonder Woman premiering with Justice League waiting to in the wings for this fall. I mean, I really think that the reviews that have been in have been excellent for this film, and that she's really Wonder Woman is leading the way. There were so many questions of, well, can you have a female-led only film and also a female director, et cetera, et cetera? Is Gal right for the role? And I think all of those questions have been answered.
Yeah, I mean, definitely from, all the reviews that I've seen, and it's crazy. Even some of the reviews that came out before the movie even released, just of the critics, and normally they're the toughest ones and they give the most harsh ratings, and it just did amazing. Like it had some of the highest reviews, I think, on Rotten Tomato of like any DC or Marvel film ever. So it was groundbreaking to even see that, and then it came out and did what it did, and I mean, it's just amazing. Gal as Wonder Woman, I think to me is perfect. Like you watch it and her character and the way she plays it, and then, her and Chris Pine and their, chemistry that they have, it's fantastic.
In mentioning that for such a a female empowering film, there are little girls all over the world that are watching this. What do you think it means to them to see such a strong character like Wonder Woman on the screen, and what do you think it will change for actresses in the future?
I mean, I think Wonder Woman being such a film that's obviously led by a female, I think it's amazing because you don't see it a lot, and even in the Marvel world, you have Black Widow, but, she's not necessarily a lead, role, and she hasn't had her own film yet. And I think Wonder Woman like encompasses so much more than just a superhero running around, fighting Germans. Like there's a story to it, and there's an empowerment in her character and as a female, and then there's a love story behind it. And there's just like as you're watching it, there's just so many relationships, and it draws you in from the beginning, because I don't want to ruin anything for you, because I
Hmm.
don't know if you've seen it yet or not, and some of our viewers, but
Right, no
you
spoilers.
know right in the beginning, yeah, I mean, some people were like, I cried, and I was like, I mean, I kind of did too. I like you tear up because you really get sucked in right away, and it's like it's amazing when a movie can capture you in more than one way. So I definitely think Wonder Woman did an amazing job at that.
And that's all the people talk about, and just it's scheduled to to beat out Pirates. I saw a headline today that says Wonder Woman is scheduled to crush the Mummy, which is supposed to come out this weekend, and I know it's
Yeah,
just gonna.
funny. I saw that too. Actually, somebody at work today told me they like were sitting there on their phone. I think we were on lunch break, and they were like, yeah, Wonder Woman's supposedly, gonna crush Tom Cruise's The Mummy this weekend, and I was like, wow, like that's unreal. Because I mean, obviously Tom Cruise is soul in traffic and things like that, but it's definitely its own world. It's so engulfed with the industry, which is why I think it sets so many other places apart from.
Have competed in the NASCAR circuit and also the karate circuit, and have gone on to do things in Hollywood. Have you had a chance to meet and even work with some other karate people that have been out there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, NASCAR, I feel like so many of us have come from NASCAR at some point, whether they competed or, came through for a bit or have been on the circuit their whole life. So, yeah, I mean, there's a ton of, talent that has moved out to LA that's been on the circuit. And I do, whether, it's going to jam in training or XMA and seeing some people there, or whether it's on a job and you end up getting there and you're like, oh, hey, like haven't seen you in a while.
Hmm.
And, it's hard because, like you say, I traveled quite a bit, and everybody in this industry travels quite a bit. So you can go for months sometimes without seeing people. But that's just how our job is. And then it's funny because with social media nowadays, you kind of feel like you know where everybody is and what they're up to.
Hmm.
So at least that kind of helps you stay connected to a certain extent. But yeah, no, I mean, we definitely have some amazing talent that has come from our tournament circuit. So yeah.
That is true with social media. You do see that people out there, they're working on projects all the time, and it's always great to see someone like such as yourself that has has reached a level of success, and hopefully there are plenty of more opportunities that come from that. Now, speaking to that note, while browsing through your pictures on Facebook,
Hmm.
I see that you have met Jackie Chan. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I know this is gonna sound crazy, but Jackie Chan and I are pretty close friends. I've gained a relationship with him throughout the years, and I did a movie with him about 4 to 5 years ago now at this point
Hmm.
called Chinese Zodiac.
Hmm.
And he casted me. He actually was watching ESPN one night, which is the US Open,
Of course.
and he was browsing and saw somebody come up like on the TV doing karate, and he stops, being the martial artist that he is.
Hmm.
And my name had passed, and he just like kept watching because he was casting for this film at the time. And eventually I came back on, and he took a picture of my, like he said he was sitting there like waiting with the camera. And when he does it, it's really funny because he like acts it all out, which is hilarious. So think of Rush Hour and then him explaining the story. It's exactly like that. And then yeah, so he took a picture. He told his producers to find my website, and it was just like, hey, it was like nice and short. Hey, would you like to be a part of a Jackie Chan film? And I was like, huh, this is funny. Someone's trying to like prank me or something. And but I wrote back, of course, and I was like, hi, yes, like my gosh, that would be an honor. Like he's a legend, and especially being the martial artist that I am, that was like a dream come true. But then they ended up not answering for gosh, like 6 months, and I was just like, bummer, like whatever, I guess that just was a joke.
Hmm.
But then they ended up writing me back, and they were like, hey, we're ready. Like, here's your flight itinerary. Are you ready? And I was like, um,
Yeah.
yeah. I was like, and I didn't question anything. I didn't know what I was going for. I didn't know if I had like a character and I was acting, or if I was going as stunts, or I don't know. I had no idea, but I didn't question it because anything had to do with him, I was on board for. Um, so yeah, and I ended up flying out there and then realizing I had a role. And I think my first day, he walks in to hair and makeup, and it was super early. And all I remember is him walking in with his glasses and looking at me and being like, "Hi, I'm Jackie." And I was like, "Oh my God." I was
Don't.
like, "Yes, sir, I know that." And he just sat next to me. And then next thing you know, when we were done, he was like, "You ready?" And I was like, "Oh my God, everyone keeps asking me if I'm ready. I don't know what I'm ready for." So I was like, "Yeah." So then ended up giving me a script, and he's like, all right, we're gonna have lines. And I'm like, lines? I'm like, I hope they're even in English. We were filming in Beijing, China.
Mm-hmm.
And so my first day on set of Chinese Zodiac was lines with Jackie Chan. I was like, what's going on? And yeah, it was just a surreal experience. And from then we've, kept our relationship, and if we're ever in the same city, or, when I was actually on Wonder Woman in London, he was there shooting another movie at the time. And then, so I got to see him a few times. And then he was obviously back in China, and I had shot a movie in China for 7 months following Wonder Woman. So then I got to see him a few times and visit his set of Bleeding Steel. And yeah, so it's like every time, he seems to come to town, then I see him. Or, I think the last time I saw him was February. He came in for the Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to see him then. And he actually asked me to put on some live performances in China for his 40th stunt team anniversary and for the Shanghai Film Festival. So I'm actually taking a group after the Battle of Atlanta this year, and we are going to China for a week.
That, I mean, can you imagine if you could just take yourself back to the very first time you walked in a karate school, and to think from that very first day, whatever it was that motivated you, whether it's a movie, your friend, or you know what, you went on pizza night or something, and to think that that moment that you started taking lessons led to something like that is it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's now that you're saying that, I'm like sitting here having a moment.
I mean, from that point
It
on
is.
to here, you know.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Like I haven't actually, I mean, and you always think about it and like how you started and things like that, but I never like putting it in that sentence is, yeah, it's pretty crazy. I would have never thought, because I mean, at one point after I graduated high school, I moved to Orlando. I went to UCF and I was a biology major. Like I wanted to be an orthodontist.
Hmm.
And then I had always kind of wanted to move, and continue my martial arts and, the love that I had for it, but I couldn't compete forever. And yeah, I was like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it now, because this is my time where my body will be able to do what I could do. So, I picked up and I moved to LA, and yeah, it's like one thing after the next. You never know what's going to happen. Like I said earlier, you may get that call tomorrow and it's life changing, and you go do another thing that adds on to just an amazing adventure. And it's scary, but at the same time it's really cool, because I've done some amazing things with some amazing people. And like you say, for my first day walking into a karate school, I never would have thought like this would be happening.
And I mean that's one thing. Like when you look at it full circle, and the great thing is that this grand adventure that you maybe couldn't even imagine 10 years ago, it's still continuing. With that in mind, what advice would you give to someone that says, maybe there's someone out there listening now that's possibly competing and winning, and they say, you know what, when I graduate high school, or when I turn 20 or 19 or whatever the age is, I think I want to move out to LA, and I want to take a stab at things. What advice would you, if you could go back and speak to yourself, what advice would you give to Caitlin Dechelle?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would just say, like, if it's something that you want to do, do it and don't wait. Like, there's never going to be a perfect time, right? You're always going to be life. Life is always happening, right? So there's never going to be a perfect time. There's never going to be, the perfect amount of money in your bank that you think you're going to be comfortable with. Like, it is a very uncomfortable, I guess you could say, feeling, because it's nerve-wracking. Like you don't know what's actually going to happen. Like I never knew what was going to happen. And but yeah, if it's something that you truly love and you want to do, go for it and go at it full force. You can't definitely do it and put half of your soul into it. Like it
Hmm.
has to be everything. And like I say, it has to be something you love, because as glamorous as it may look on the outside, we go through some crazy things while shooting and crazy hours. And some people don't really realize that. So you definitely have to have just pure love for what you do.
I think that is absolutely good, solid advice. Now, one of the things you definitely mentioned is, for example, this the movie you did with Jackie. You did have some lines and everything, but you also do stunts. Give us a little insight into some of the stunt work that you do.
Yeah, so I mean, on his film, I luckily got to act and do my own stunts, and that actually was like a turning point because I moved to LA and was like, oh, well, I'll just focus on stunts, like that's kind of what I do. But then I was like, and then when I did this movie, I was like, oh, well, maybe I can act and do my own stunts. Like that would be cool, be like a female Tom Cruise.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, when an opportunity like Wonder Woman came up, I was going to do that for sure because of, I mean, so many reasons, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, my main goal is to act and do my own stunts. So, I bounce back and forth. I'm in acting class, but like right now I'm out in Vancouver and I'm working on a Netflix show and, I'm stunt doubling. So, I do kind of, hop back and forth, as I guess you could say. But, I've had the chance to do stunts in some incredible things. One, of course, being Jackie's film, Chinese Zodiac. Wonder Woman, of course, like we just spoke about. I also worked on Fast Seven. I
Mm-hmm.
was a bodyguard to the billionaire in the Dubai scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also stunt doubled Ronda Rousey. I've worked on Teen Wolf, so it's probably one of my favorite shows ever. I doubled, I believe, four different actresses, and then at the end, the creator of the show, Jeff Davis, actually gave me an opportunity to play one of the bad guys. So I was this like big scary character with this mask. There were like three of us, and so that was a ton of fun. So it's like every job kind of brings something different. You never will get on a job and do the same thing. So it's kind of like great, but it's also kind of like frightening at the same time because you're like, you just don't walk into work and you like know what to expect.
Never the same old,
Yeah.
same old. It's
Yeah, you walk in and they may be like, "Oh, hey, you're being ratcheted off, this 30-foot building today." And then tomorrow, "Hey, you're doing this fight scene." And, then it's stuff that you're kind of, more comfortable with. So, you're definitely pushed to your limits a bit and tested, but I guess that's kind of the, fun behind it and seeing what job brings what.
it definitely sounds like every day you never know exactly what you're going to do, and I can appreciate that because sometimes you do get in the daily grind of doing one thing after another, but when you wake up and it's just a new day and hey, what are we doing today? With that being said, a lot of your pictures and everything from your fan site and also your fan page on Facebook, which we will link in this video. We will have that on the screen. It does show
Cool.
you that you're always working out. Tell us how much important this keeping in shape and eating healthy. Even though I do share your sweet tooth. There are a lot of pictures of you having ice cream and everything, but you got to keep your body in shape. Your body is your work in this industry, and you do put the work in. I see a lot of videos of you. And a lot of great photographers. Some of the photographers that are working with you, there's some excellent shots that are there.
They're amazing.
But you got to keep in shape, and you got to stay on top of training. Explain a little bit of that to me on how important it is to stay in shape and to keep pushing yourself.
Yeah, of course. Training is key. Like you say, it's my tool for work. And I think martial arts throughout the years has definitely helped me because I mean, I trained every day. So, I mean, there became a point when I was a kid that I was training 5, 6, even 7 days a week leading up to a tournament. So I feel like I've always kind of been in the habit of working out. And I feel like when I don't for an extended period of time, even sometimes 2 days, I start to go a little crazy. I'm like, I feel like there's like a part missing or like I'm not doing something or slacking,
Right.
And, but of course, my training has changed over the years. I was in a karate school my whole life. And then now that I don't compete as much, of course, I still work my martial arts, but then I'm more in a gym and just training to be strong because, we do hit the floor and we do get slammed into walls and your body does have to be strong and tough to be able to do those things. And not only do we do them once, sometimes we do them 15, 20 times.
Yeah, that's true. We
So
only see one
you
take, but you do it a lot of times. Like you said, over and over.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, some things we do and it's one take. If it's like something huge, then they try to do it as little takes as they can. But a lot of things. I mean, even with the fights, your stamina has to be up, your strength has to be up, and it is hard because then at some points, like you say, I want to eat ice cream because I do have a huge sweet tooth, and
I,
pretty
I
much anyone who's close to me and knows, they know that that is definitely the case.
I can relate to that. I understand completely. What
Yeah, so I mean, there are days, where you can cheat. It's just, it's all in moderation and it's hard. Sometimes you just want to let loose, if you go on a vacation, just kind of eat whatever, but then you got to remember what's coming up, and so I don't know. It's an up and down game that you kind of have to play. But yeah, I mean, of course, I do try to always stay in the best shape because you never know when that phone call comes tomorrow that you need to be in the best shape of your life. So it's
yes,
definitely difficult and a constant, constantly in the gym.
that is definitely true, and we definitely appreciate your time. Like you said, you're in Vancouver. You're working on a Netflix project. One of the
Yeah.
things that I definitely saw that is central to you is family. There are lots of pictures of your mom, your dad, your brother, and how important has that been for their support to do what you do?
That's so awesome you even notice. Like I take it very seriously. Like a lot of people on their, social media pages at a certain point, they just like they don't post that stuff. They just post the pretty pictures and, they make life seem so glamorous to a certain extent. And I try to keep it as real as I can at the same time. To just, show that I am normal and I do normal things. And like you say, I eat ice cream every so often and, it just brings you down to, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just like everybody else, And one thing that has always been very important to me is my family. And, for, I mean, all the listeners who are on NASCA, they obviously know that my dad is, he's been by my side through my whole, competitive career my whole life. And he watched every martial arts class I went to and, doesn't have a black belt, but could literally tell you everything wrong you do in a form by watching it once. And
Hmm.
it's incredible. And at the end of my competing career, he pretty much became my coach. Like we'd watch my videos, and he'd help critique me. And I mean, it was amazing. And my mom, even though she was kind of more on the sidelines because she was always with my brother when we were traveling, but
Hmm.
always supported me in everything I did. And I mean, now I seriously don't know what I would do without them. Like, I text my mom probably more than I text anybody else. I probably text my dad that much too, but he hates it. He's always like, "Can you just call me?"
Just call me. Don't text me.
Um, but yeah, no, I mean, I truly am forever thankful for them. And I don't even think I could ever thank them enough because I do every day ask them something and I'm learning. And some days I can't do, like, especially now that I'm here and I'm working, like they've been helping me so much with the China project that I have coming up. And even if I have an email to respond to or, typed interview questions, or it doesn't matter what it is, they are there 100% to help me. And yeah, it's beyond amazing, and I hope that I can be the parent that they are one day to my kids because God, I don't know, like I keep saying, I don't know what I'd do without them.
That is the true sign of both good parents and good family support. Well, we I know you're busy. I appreciate you taking this time with us and giving us a little insight. The movie is Wonder Woman. It's making a billion jillion dollars. Go out there and see it, and definitely look for Caitlin's name in the credits. I've seen a few people have posted images on your
Yeah.
wall already, and I know we're looking for great success for you to come. I know you're going. You mentioned you're going to the. You have a project coming up in China. Is there? Are you going to be at any upcoming karate tournaments we may see you at?
Funny thing, you're gonna all see me next weekend. I will be at the Battle of Atlanta. So I am meeting there. It's pretty much I'm gonna run this job that I'm on in Vancouver up to literally can to Atlanta, and then I'll be there, and I leave with the team on Sunday. So I will be around and there, and I hope I get to see you. Will you be there?
I will be at the Battle of Atlanta, and that just goes right into there. Another fine covered SMA tournament, and actually, I'll be leading the team down there, so I'll see you
Heck
down there.
yeah.
So, are you going to bring? Is there anybody else you're going to bring with you from this project from China? Anybody out in the circuit right now?
Oh yeah, everybody's on the circuit. All my kids pretty much, and actually, one of my best friends who used to compete on the circuit that we grew up doing karate together. So I haven't fully, I guess, I mean, it's an official, but an unofficial type of thing, you know. But
Hmm.
yeah, maybe I'll do a post or a something coming up of, people who I'm taking there to kind of make it, I guess, exciting. But I know they're all excited.
Oh,
It's
definitely.
just been super stressful putting it all together because, as you know, we're all in different states. And to make it even harder, I'm working right now in Vancouver and my days are just crazy.
Hmm.
And, but yeah, it's going to be exciting, I think, once it finally happens. But that lead up is just like super stressful.
Well, we can't wait to see you next week at the Battle of Atlanta. Of course, when you do get this together, take some clips so we can put them out there as well and show everybody what you're doing. We certainly appreciate you taking the time with us, Caitlin. Get some rest. I know that work calls again tomorrow. Who knows what you're going to be doing? But
Who knows?
thank you again for taking the time.
Of course. Thank you so much. It was great talking to you, and I'll see you next weekend.
Yes, indeed.